Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa, the product marketing manager for PowerPoint Consumer, and I'm excited to walk you through how Copilot can help you create, edit, and refine your presentation right in the slide for you. So, based on Georgia's scenario, we know as a wedding planner, you need to really wow your clients and get the bride and groom excited for their big day. That's where PowerPoint can help you bring your plans and vision to life by creating a beautiful run-of-the-show presentation to walk your clients through the schedule and any key details to present either virtually or send it to them over email to have them take a review. So let's get started by using the PowerPoint desktop app on my PC. And so we'll come to PowerPoint here, and I'll click in. And you can see I can either start with this prompt here of what you want to create today, or if you just want to jump into a blank presentation, you can click here. And from here, you'll see the Copilot button at the bottom right, and you'll see it gives you a few suggested user actions. You can either jump in to create a presentation, add a slide, or add an image. I'm going to click Create a Presentation. And it's going to open up Copilot Chat. And so this, as Jessica mentioned earlier, this is the new experience where you can either click here to either chat only with Copilot, or you can click Allow Editing, where Copilot will edit your presentation directly for you. And so since we have an existing wedding plan document shared earlier, I want to use that as my reference file. So I'll stay in the allow editing functionality. Another thing I want to call out is this new drop down where you can actually select and switch the AI model that you want to use for the type of presentation or work that you're trying to create. So since Georgia has a Microsoft 365 premium subscription, she's able to see all these different model options, so she can actually pick and choose which one she wants to go with. If you are a personal or family subscriber, you will just default to the auto model applied here. So definitely a perk to having the premium subscription because it gives you more variety of the models you want to choose from, like Claude or GPT models. But let's go with auto for this example here. And one other area I want to touch on just quickly is the image models below. You can see based on, the type of image you want to create, that's another option for you to pick from these different image models. So GPT, Microsoft's own MAI image model, as well as Black Forest Flux.2 Flex. So just wanted to call out those other image generation models included here. So coming back up, we'll just select auto in this case. And so now I'm ready to, jump into my prompt here, and I'm actually going to click this plus sign to add my content. So Copilot will actually have your recent files shown here. And so I'm going to find that, the couple's wedding plan that Georgia's been working on. So I'm going to put that there and say, create a presentation. And I'm going to kind of say, let's see, create a presentation about this document and include the same times with slides on the run of the show. And so we'll hit send. And this is where you can see Copilot's really starting its reasoning steps. It's thinking through the ask where it's going through that document. So it really breaks down its reasoning steps of how it's going to start pulling together this presentation for you. And sometimes it might come back with a question to ask you just to really refine it. So how much of the wedding plan should the presentation cover? Sometimes it'll give you a recommendation, or if you want to get even more detailed, but let's go with just run of the show only. And who is the audience of this presentation? So really, it's the bride and groom review. So we'll click that and hit confirm. And so now, it kind of keeps customizing it for you. And I will say, it takes roughly around 10 minutes, depending on the depth of content or the detailed prompt you used. So if you attached a pretty lengthy document, it may take longer than 10 minutes. That really is the current AI industry standard for presentation creation time. But if you're looking for a really deeper analysis on a research paper, for example, that can take up to about, 30 minutes. So be patient as it's working through the steps here. Looks like it wants me to add, kind of understand the visual direction. So, given the barn venue, let's go with the warm earth and wildflower style here. So we'll click confirm. And so now it's going to continue to keep working on the presentation for you.
So, Lisa, if I'm more of a newbie and I'm not the most well versed on all these AI models, you're saying like auto is just fine for me. But if I really know my models, I can pick my favorite one if I have a premium subscription. Is that right?
Yes, that's a great question. So if you have that premium subscription, you do get that ability to select the preferred model from that drop-down list. But if you're just kind of wanting to use the auto model, it will automatically leverage the fastest and most current model available. So currently Claude Opus is as default. But we know each of those models kind of have their own unique benefits. So, Claude tends to work better for those longer document reviews, really refining and simplifying the writing within that document. GPT is great for brainstorming and maybe more data analysis. Maybe you want to attach an Excel spreadsheet. It's great also with image generation. And then Microsoft does have our own image model, so that one tends to be a bit faster. And then there's Flux.2 Flex, and that's the one that's really great for like stylized images, really artistic, high quality images. So definitely recommend playing around with them if you have the premium subscription and compare the different outputs.
That's great.
So, just to save us time, I do have an output of the prompt of what this would look like. As I said, it does take around 10 minutes, but I wanted to show you, an example of when you attach that document, similar steps it takes, but really it pulls together this really robust presentation based on refining what, from the documents and those questions it was asking me. So now I really have this beautiful presentation I can take to Emily and Brad as the bride and groom. I can walk them through the morning kind of getting ready schedule that was all featured in that Word document. Kind of gets them excited about the day, the afternoon, first look schedule, what the ceremony will look like, cocktail hour, reception. So you can kind of play around with those questions it had for you, just to depends on how much information you want to keep and pull through in the presentation. But yeah, excited to see how it kind of leveraged that existing document and gave us this really beautiful looking presentation. But as you know, the the plans change and the wedding venue, the pipe bursting, unfortunately, we need to switch venues. And so this presentation, we need to make sure we're updating it. So you can actually kind of come back to that Copilot chat experience. And that's where you're going to say, you can either say update this presentation using the new wedding plan document. So once again, you come back and you're going to be looking for the new version. So we know this is the new updated version. And so we need to switch all the wedding venue and some of the key details, switch it over to that Lone Sky Ranch venue. So instead of Georgia having to go through and kind of redo the whole presentation, you can actually once again upload the new updated plan and kind of have it adjust this existing presentation. So, it will kind of go through those same tasks, but ultimately you want to make sure it's pulling in the latest information. So once again, though, to save us time, I did pull together kind of the same prompt where you can see it's updating to Lone Sky Ranch. It's actually pulling in more like updated kind of look and feel from the new wedding plan. And I actually kind of like this one better. Like, I think it kind of fits the couple better. And, it's kind of took some liberties to add that wedding day at a glance, but you can see now it's really updated the information based on that new document. One other, way that you can use Copilot to take the action for you is adding a new slide. So, with weddings and weather, we know that you really need to basically understand the wedding, like the weather. So I'm going to add in a prompt to add in a new slide on the forecasted weather in May 2026, New Mexico, where the wedding will be. And so we just want to have it also add a new slide. So we'll start to take these similar approaches, but I just kind of love that you're able to work in the chat, kind of going back and forth and really telling Copilot what to do to help update your presentation for you. So you can see it's going to ask me maybe a few clarifying questions. It's asking me, does it want me to replace an existing slide? And we'll say yes. And I think we want that wedding week. We wanted to really hone in the wedding weather on that week. So I'm glad it's kind of drilling in on, the fact that, no, we want to focus the weather on that special week. So you can see it's performing the different steps here. And it will, it's doing both that web search, pulling, the weather forecast information. And so since it's just adding a slide, this could range from, I'd say, probably more 5 minutes or so, just given it's a single slide. But to give you a sense, since I've already added this in to save us time, this is what an output I received earlier of kind of what that wedding day forecast looks like. So it kind of pulled it in, the forecast, the sunset time, the UV index, the wind, humidity, some kind of planning notes of just reminders for the bride and groom of, just guests to bring sunscreen. So I love that just from one prompt, it was able to pull together the slide and match the overall presentation's look and feel. So just another way you can be using Copilot Chat to actually take those actions for you. But yeah, this is just one example of the new default experience with Copilot and PowerPoint. And it can really move you from that first draft to a beautiful final presentation. So yeah, very excited to share that with you.